Hey guys, so in this video we are going to talk about mob programming. So what is mob programming? Let's get into it. Mob programming is basically just a bunch of coders sitting in a room looking at one single monitor and coding as a group. It's just another way of saying group programming. And to some people, this might be a little bit odd and it might be a little bit weird because, why are you all sitting down and like having these, like, well, basically, why would you work in a group like that? And there are actually two scenarios where I think that it's extremely useful during these two circumstances. The first and foremost time it's useful is when you have a problem that is extremely complicated, and it's absolutely vital to share that with as many people as possible, because the thing is that what you don't want, and this is very true, is this goes out to the guys out there. If you have your own startup and you're hiring new people and you've been working for years and years on this project, and all of a sudden now it's time for you to move things along, and you're hiring your first colleagues. It is very important for you to share that knowledge, and this goes for anybody. It's extremely important that knowledge gets spread out, because you don't want to have some single person specialist that's the only person who knows how something works. Because what happens is that if they're sick, I mean, I'm sick right now and my colleagues are still working on my feature because I made sure, because and that's the way it has to work. I mean, the job, like the code, needs to be shipped even if I'm not there, and that's why mob programming is such a useful thing for very complicated features. It's not something like you can share knowledge in more effective manners than mob programming. It's not something that you should throw at every single problem. It's something you should throw at the sort of problem that is truly complicated, something that is absolutely vital to your business. In my company's example, that would be the subscription detection, like if basically the algorithm that identifies subscriptions for the different bank transactions, because it's a central role in, it's the backbone of how the company makes its money. And that's something we do mob programming on. Or we try as much as possible, because it's so vital that everybody knows how it works. Same things goes for infrastructure, like setting up environments and like all the different configuration projects. All of that stuff is very important that everybody knows about. So that's number one. Make sure that mob programming is something you use as much as possible for when you're developing something that needs to either be high quality, or you need it to be, the knowledge needs to be spread amongst everyone, because it's going to cost you less. Trust me, it will cost you less, because you have no idea how often it happens that some random person builds something that turns out to be very important for the company, and then they leave and nobody knows how it works. Happens all the time, and it costs millions, hundreds of millions for some companies I can mention. So that's the first time. And the second time I think mob programming is very useful is when you're hiring somebody. And the reason why I think it's actually very useful, I had to do it myself as a part of a job interview. So basically, I sat down with my potential colleagues and they gave me a keyboard, and then they just sat down next to me, and we were basically, I was asked to implement, or like with their help, implement a feature in one of their projects. And yeah, it was basically, because what's beautiful about that is that it tests two things at the same time. It tests your ability as a developer, at my ability to communicate effectively and work within the group. Like how can I actually cooperate? Can I communicate? Can I reason? And because now they can hear my thought process, because in order for us to be able to, as a group, write the code, I have to tell them what I'm thinking, listen to what they're thinking, and then we have to trade that information back and forth. That is very important, and it's something that is very, very critical when you're a software developer, because the days are gone when a software developer was this like social introvert type of person who sat in the corner of an office and the IT guy nobody talked to. Like, if you are so extremely shy and an introvert, there are jobs out there, absolutely, but I urge you to start working on that part of yourself, because it's getting some companies will actually not hire you if you're too much of an introvert. Being shy is okay, but you should know that being like social and being able to work as a part of a team is important. It is very important. And so that's why this exercise is very great, especially to screen out like senior developers. Like, junior developers are usually even more shy than seniors. So if you're hiring somebody who is a senior and you put them in this context, it's going to especially if you're hiring somebody who's going to be a tech lead or something like that, you should put them in this situation, because this is perfect. Because it's going to not only test their ability to work in a group, it's going to test the second thing I was going to mention, which is their maturity, their confidence in themselves, because it's I mean, a code test is it puts a lot of pressure on you, but having a coding exercise or doing live coding in front of like all your colleagues and having to like interact and handle that situation, that puts a lot of stress on you as an individual. Not only not only are they testing your skills, but they're also testing your character, your ability to lead, your ability to cooperate, like all these personal attributes. And it's a very powerful exercise when you're screening somebody. I personally really like it. I think that having a mob coding session like that, and also having a whiteboard session where you like ask the candidate to basically draw up. You tell them that this is what we're going to build. Can you show us like a diagram, or like draw up on the whiteboard how the flow is going to work and what all the parts of the systems are and like the considerations you would have, just to get them talking so you can hear how they think, because how somebody thinks is much more important than most other things. If they can code and they have the right mindset, that's the most important part in the world. So yeah, mob coding, as now to summarize, awesome for basically sharing knowledge and writing really good software for parts of the system that is very, very important. And also an awesome way to interview people for a job position at your company. Hopefully this was useful to you.